Hey guys, Kerry Stessel here, and I am standing in front of Wunschie Brothers Cafe and Saloon. And you guys aren't familiar with Wunschie Brothers. This is a Texas landmark established in 1902. You can see here that it is a historical landmark. Amazing. The building was constructed in 1902. Kind of read a little bit about the history there. The restaurant a few years ago actually burnt down, which was kind of sad and devastating to a lot of people. Fortunately, it was bought out by a local restaurant family here in the Spring Woodlands area, and they are actually rebuilding this. This was in a lot worse shape than it is, and they will be opening it back up, which is good news for us. And it will be good to see it back up and running again. I mean, you know, a Texas landmark, any building, any restaurant that's been around for that long, obviously must have been doing something right. So I want to talk a little bit about restaurants and a little bit about evolving and not evolving, and the changes that can happen and not happen to lead to the success or failure of a restaurant. So I'm going to start off with the long term. So if you take Wunschie Brothers, for example, you know, as long as it's been here, they pretty much have been consistent the whole time. You know, I mean, quality fluctuates a little bit because over that many years, obviously, I'm sure they had to change suppliers and vendors and products and manufacturers of different food products. You know, that can change, and that could make them and force them to actually have to kind of change up their recipes a little bit. And modify them accordingly to ingredients and suppliers and so on and so forth. But, you know, consistency is probably the biggest key. And I mean, I know that's nothing that's like new and surprising to anybody out there in the business of owning a restaurant. But, you know, day in, day out, you really want to have your customers have that same experience every time they come in. And that goes from not just the service, but the price points and the value for the amount of food, the portions, and also the quality as well. So you know, as a restaurant owner, you want to really make sure that you can focus on those criteria to be consistent for your guests. So that way, every time they come in and they can get the same dish that they've been enjoying for many, many years over, and get that same experience. And that's really the key to longevity of owning a restaurant. Now, does that always need to stay the same? No. So here's the other side of that coin. So longevity, obviously maintaining everything, keeping, you know, quality and everything consistent with your guests, and the service and price point, like I mentioned. The other side of that coin is going to be evolving. So there are restaurants that need to evolve, and here's something that I observe in a lot of restaurants in different demographics all over the place, and that is that if your clientele changes, you could probably use to change yourself. And that kind of means reinventing the wheel in one aspect, and making things new again in another aspect, and yet at the same time possibly, you know, keeping some of your classic and your signature dishes on the menu and keep those staples, because that's what kind of builds part of the longevity, and that's keeping the regulars coming back to you to get that dish that they love so much. But at the same time, creating new dishes and evolving anything from the type of cuisine. You might want to modify and change some of those dishes, and maybe change the price point, you know. And a lot of this has to do with demographics. So to really understand some of what I'm saying here, you really have to, as a restaurant owner, a business owner, you really need to understand your demographics. What's the median income? You know, if I asked you this question today, do you know the answer? You know, if not, that's fine, but I would probably encourage you to go do a little digging and research and find out what is the median income of your clientele in your neighborhood, around your business, within a 3 to 5 mile radius. You know, that's important to know, because if you want a customer like me to go eat at your restaurant, how often do you want me to go eat at your restaurant? Well, I would hope that you want to see me maybe once a week, twice, 3, 4 times a month, you know, maybe a couple of times a week. You know, if it's lunch and I work in the area, that would be great. You'd love to have all your customers frequent your establishment and come in and eat there, 2-3 times a week. That would be great. So to do that, you have to understand the demographics and the median income and what your customers can afford. That is truth. It just is. It's the fact that if you are on a budget, and most people are, everybody's got a budget, how much are you going to spend eating out? How many times a week are you going to eat out? And at what price point and what kind of restaurant are you going to go eat out at? These are things that factor into the decision-making process of your customers, of your guests. How often do you want them back in? And I'll just give you an example. I mean, this is me. So, Perry's. I'm going to name out Perry's Steakhouse. We like them. It's good quality. It's always been consistent service for us. We like going there. That's the type of restaurant that we go to for birthdays, special occasions, anniversaries. That is our, kind of one of our go-to places amongst others that we like to go to for that type of, special occasions and birthdays, kind of a splurge meal for us. That's just me. That's my budget. That's kind of my comfort zone for that type of an event. Do I eat there on a regular basis? No. Do I really, just go there for lunch or dinner just to grab a bite? No. Are there people that do? Absolutely. So, and I'm not trying to judge anybody in their income level and what their affordability. It has nothing to do with that. It's understanding your demographics of your clientele. If you're in a business district and you understand that, the median income is pretty high level, you're catering to a lot of, executives, possibly, higher income, neighborhoods, possibly, and you have a fine dining establishment, that might be great. You might have a stellar, lunch crowd in a business district. You might have a slower dinner service in a business district. In a residential district, it could be opposite. You could have a more higher end, dinner service. Or higher end clientele for your dinner service, and maybe it's slower during lunch. And focus on those too as far as what you're offering. If you're busier during lunch, offer some really good quick in and out, whatever tailors to your clientele, and offer them more value for their lunch. If you're seeing an influx of dinner or on the weekend for brunch, maybe kind of focus on offering better value, more offerings, better selection. If it's a big brunch crowd that you see and Sunday is like your day, it's like your big day at the restaurant and you guys just get slammed from open to close, maybe offering more of a selection, adding some more menu items to a Sunday menu, just specifically for that, could actually drive more business. So if you think about it, if you're busy on Sunday and people are coming in and every single Sunday this one couple keeps coming in, well, if they order the same thing, that's fine. If they're going to try different menu items and they want to experiment and explore different items on the menu, next time try something different, well, by offering a little bit broader menu selection on that one day, could bring them back a couple extra times during, that month, during that year, that would give them more options. So that's something really to look at. So as far as evolving though, let's say the median income in the neighborhood starts to go down. Does that happen? Yeah. Real estate goes down. Houses market goes down. The houses get older. The school districts aren't as credible as they used to be. Things change like that. And that's okay. But what you really want to look at with that is going to be, okay, well, maybe the median income for the last 5 years, the last 10 years, what did it used to be? Where is it at now? Maybe I need to reevaluate my price points. Now, I say this to pretty much everybody. I do not recommend to lower the quality of your food. I mean, ideally, if you're going to eat out, you want a good meal, you want something that's going to, be decent quality and decent price and, good portions and good value. So I don't really recommend to downgrade, the quality of the food, maybe the portion size. You still, hey, this is Texas, you gotta have big portions, or people are, if it doesn't fill the plate and it's not a big plate, you're gonna lose some clientele there. Sorry, I hate to say it, but a lot of people are big eaters. So, look at that, look at the price point, and focus in on, the demographics. Oh, here we go. Hang on. Didn't know that was going to happen. The old train rolling through here in Old Town Spring. Hope you can hear me over that. But anyway, so where was I? So yeah, if the median income goes down in your neighborhood around your business, then maybe reconsider, offering a better value to those clientele in that neighborhood, in that price point. It doesn't mean you have to revamp. It doesn't mean you have to change the name of the restaurant. Just make some minor tweaks and changes to everything. And, maybe even advertise a new menu. Maybe advertise, new, better value. What's wrong with that? It doesn't scream desperation. It should basically be marketing and advertising new variety, new selections, whatever you got to do. Be creative, think outside the box. But it is important to understand both sides of this. I mean, there are neighborhoods and there are restaurants, I shouldn't say neighborhoods, but there are restaurants that have been around a long time that are very consistent, that don't have to change anything. But if you notice something's not working, reevaluate it, reassess it. I think too many times, we all get caught up in our business and, we work in our business and not on our business. And I think sometimes hearing stuff like what I'm saying is valuable, is important, and I hope it is. I hope it brings value to you guys, and I hope it is, helpful in some sort of aspect to where you can look at this and think, wow, maybe I need to step outside of the restaurant and not be in the business and take an outside look at it and really reevaluate my business. Because look, things can change. Major corporations are always reinventing the wheel. They're always changing everything. They're always making things new again. And that's how they evolve. You should be able to start from day one and evolve. Everything has to evolve, but keep the good stuff on the menu, introduce, new items, do some grassroots marketing, go around to the neighborhood businesses, neighborhoods, subdivisions, wherever you can go, churches, wherever you got to go, and reach out to people and just let them know, hey, we've been in the neighborhood for 12 years now. Just want to let you know that we got some new menu items that we're excited about, and some specials to introduce those to our, to our neighborhood customers. And we'd love to have you come in and try some of them out and give us some feedback and let us know what you think about these new menu items. And we'd love to have you in. And here's a flyer of the new menu, and here's some coupons. Come stop by. We'd love to have you. And just do that, guys. But places like this, One Sheep Brothers, it's far and few in between. 1902. It's amazing. I don't know any other restaurant around here. Obviously, this is the oldest one. Spring's oldest existing commercial building on its original site. It's amazing, guys. So take that into consideration. They mostly serve this comfort food here. Burgers, chicken fried steak, stuff like that. It's not that you have to do anything fancy. Just be consistent at it. Offer good value, good portions. Do it right, but reevaluate your business. Look at both sides of that. If the regulars, and here's where the long play is. For an establishment to be here this long, what it evolves into is this. It's the people that were eating here 60 years ago. They brought their kids here. They grew up eating this food and they enjoyed it with their parents. When they had kids, it's very reminiscent. It's very nostalgic to return to those types of places that you ate with your parents, because there's sentimental value in eating at a place like this. We all can relate. I grew up eating at some restaurants with my grandparents, still to this day, and many years later, and I'm not going to date myself, so I'm not going to say, but many years later, I still love going there. The food is still great. It's what I remembered it was when I was 8, and I love to take my sons there and my wife there and go to these businesses and these restaurants and eat there when I can, when I'm in those towns. And this is just a good example of that. It's the grandparents, and then the parents, and then the kids, and then their kids, And if you're doing it right long term, and your heart's in it, and your passion's in it, and you're doing it because you love it, that's going to be the answer to success. So I hope that helps you guys. I'm Kerry Stessel. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.